Since, oh, I'm so sorry. I have not been audible all the while. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm trying to say welcome to the finale of the Print of Africa Convention. Today is day three, and our speakers are here. Of course, Mr. Olumide Ayinla and myself will be taking today. Mr. Olumide Ayinla will be going first, and then I will round off the sessions. If you are ready to go all the way, if you are ready to propel to greatness as an individual, as a family person, as a career person, whatever you do, you cannot afford to miss a moment this evening. So I'm going to confirm all our platforms, and then I will come back to you to go all the way. All right. Okay. So just give us a moment, and then we will be with you shortly. All right. So we're at that moment that we have been talking about. Um, I will introduce Mr. Olumide Ayinla, and then I'll bring him up stage very shortly. And we'll go all the way. Mr. Olumide Ayinla is the founder and CEO of Print Place Nigeria. And Print Place Nigeria is a company, and Mr. Olumide Ayinla is a person that I respect a lot. When it comes to branding and printing in Nigeria, you cannot push him aside. All the top brands that you know, I've worked with them. They practically work magic. And if I am telling you that Mr. Olumide is an astute businessman, then you take it from me. Because of course we are brothers in the industry, we've related for quite a while. You know, we've shared ideas, we have exchanged value, and I can tell you that you are going to have a beautiful time this evening. So, welcome with me, everybody, wherever you're watching from, Mr. Olumide. I'm sorry, it's Print House Nigeria, not Print Play. Print House Nigeria is the founder of Print House Nigeria, and they have done business with every single who is who in Nigeria, especially FMCG and big brands. Okay, so I'm going to bring him up right now, and wherever you are, please start giving him standing, sitting, what any kind of ovation you can afford. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone.
I'm
Indeed,
so excited to see you this evening.
my,
I'm so
my,
excited to see you this evening.
my pleasure.
You, yes, up from your busy schedule. I know how much you have traveled this period. You still made it down tonight. I really appreciate you.
Yes,
So,
very.
so you have the floor. We will connect. We hope that people will ask questions, but maybe you will teach us for the next 40 minutes thereabout, and then we'll leave the remaining few minutes for questions and answers. So, Mr. Olumide Ayinla, you have the floor. Thank you.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Pleasure. It's my pleasure to be here. Um, once again, I'm Olumide Ayinla, Print House Nigeria Limited. basically a printing and brand communication company. Um, I've been an entrepreneur for well over 15 years. Um, it wasn't a plan. I'm an accidental. I call myself accidental entrepreneur, if that's a word to use. You know, going to school, studying electrical engineering, and then your parents will probably expect that after school you would get a job in one either a construction company, an engineering company, or oil and gas, or any of these organizations, and then um, I think by 500 level, I'd probably known that I was probably not going to practice engineering, not because I was a failure in school, not at all, but because I lost interest and passion. And then I went to service here. I served in 2008 in Anambra State, Oka to be precise. And it was from there that I had opportunity to um, do something that has interest in my passion, and that's how I. By the time I was getting out of NYSC, I'd already started doing business, reasonable turnover, you know, and I thoughts, and I said to myself, instead of going to go dust my CV and look for a job, and then become uh, and then I feel that I could actually create jobs and hire people, and I'm grateful to God that we've been able to achieve that to an extent. Somebody came in into the office this morning and was asking me, said, how many are you? I said, we used to be close to 30 and sometimes this year, I mean, last year, even though we brought it down to, we've right size now down to about 20 of us. So I'm an entrepreneur, take it through and through, and we've had to grow from the scratch to where we have. I didn't have the privilege of learning from anyone. In fact, I would one major advice, if you would take anything away from me this evening, is that please, however your passion for entrepreneurship, however your passion to do something for yourself, please take your time to learn from somewhere. I think I had gone far a bit in my own journey before I realized the need to probably find a structured environment and a corporate organization set up, kind of a thing where I could learn. I remembered trying to apply to a couple of places. The very first place I applied to, they told me, they said, "You want to come and steal our client?" I just laughed, and I passed their test. It was an interview. They said I wanted to come and steal their client, and then of course I had to just let go and then keep at what it is that I'm doing. So if you're listening to me today and you have not you are a very young entrepreneur, you're struggling, I think that I will encourage you to please go get a job somewhere in a structured environment, where you can. There are a lot of things you would learn. I'm being honest with you. There are a lot of things that we learn the hard way. There are a lot of things that we struggle. There are things that we still don't know till date. Let me be straightforward with you. Um, that if you find yourself in a corporate environment, it would give you the opportunity to learn those things. So I would encourage you to please find an environment that can absorb you, and then you can put your strengths and your skill and expertise into such environment to learn and to solidify some of the things, the thoughts in your processes, the thoughts in your mind rather, and then so that you could do better by the time you're starting out as an entrepreneur. So tonight I am asked to speak on building cash flow in tough times. Um, so let me use my experience starting from the scratch to explain how I actually started out in business. So I had come to Lagos after the university in 2007, yeah, and then while waiting for call up letter and all of that, I met. I was privileged, to one of my sister-in-law was into branding, was doing stuff for corporate organizations and all of that, and so I took I was like, oh, I have design skill, I could design for you. and that was how I was helping her. A few months later, I found myself in NYSC camp, and then um, I remember that we were in NCCF fellowship, and then I saw some people wearing Jesus Corporate t-shirts, and then they had none to sell to us. And then I told the president, then they usually call them Papa, and I said, "Oh, I can make those t-shirts." And he said, "Yeah, are you sure?" I said, "Yes." I said, "Okay, no problem." And then between you and I, by the time we finished the NYSC camp, went to sort out the PPA and all of that, and then went home for like 2 weeks and was coming back. I was already coming back with my first set of goods, because I think they awarded about 300 t-shirts to me for me to print for NCCF, and then of course, they had to pay me for that. So without having any cash at all, I got fund to buy t-shirt, to print the t-shirt, and of course some profit for myself. And then I brought it. So that was it. So immediately that happened, that very first one happened. Um, the news went around that, oh, this guy can produce t-shirt. And then for almost all the CD groups in Anambra, NCC, the NYC, that while I was there, I started doing that. I started producing t-shirts, printing t-shirts, doing all sorts of customized stuff for people. Because of course I have design skills, I could use my design skills to print stuff for people. I also had I had my IT, that was funded level at a computer firm, so I know a couple of things about hardware, software, repairing computer systems and all of that. So I was also doing that. I was coming between Anambra and Lagos. I was buying photocopy system, photocopiers. I was buying hardwares, helping people to sort out their computer issues. So I was a core member. I was collecting, I think it was 6,000. It was Peter Obi that was the governor then. It was paying us 6,005. I can't remember what NYC was paying us, maybe about 9,005 or whatever. But please, I wasn't the regular core member, because I, on the side, without learning business from anywhere, from anyone, I was doing well for myself. I was already sending money to people. I could afford a lot of things as a core member. And that was how I survived. It was beyond survivor, that was how I was able to live the life as a core member. I had cash flowing through my hand. So tonight, as we come to speak this evening about building cash flow in tough times, it is, I hope that my little background story gives you an idea of what you need to do in a tough time, like in times like this. The truth of the matter is that however tough the time is, there is always a value exchange somewhere. There is someone in need of something, and there is somebody who knows how to get that thing. So the key thing is that what skills do you have? What skills do you have that you can trade? What skills do you have that somebody is in need for, that they can pay you money for? In fact, I've just showed you how I didn't start business with any cover. There was no money. All I had was that I had a design skill. In fact, at that time, I didn't have a laptop of my own. I was using somebody else's laptop to design. In fact, with all of the money that I made at that time, I didn't even remember to buy a laptop for myself, because, of course, I had a laptop of somebody to use. So it's not even about the fact that you don't have anything. You probably may even find out that what you have at this material time is something in the hand of somebody else who is willing to release it to you for use. I don't know if you understand what I just said there. It could be possible that what you need to build cash flow for yourself at this material time is what is in somebody else's hand that you have access to, that you can use. Take for example, your youth corps member, you're just a fresh graduate. Um, your uncle probably has a laptop. You don't have a personal one of your own, and then there are things that there's digital skills that you can learn, and from learning such a digital skill, you're able to make money for yourself. Because don't forget that the most important thing at this material time is that you have cash flow going, building cash flow in tough times. We're in tough time. In fact, the honest truth about it is that I think that it has always been tough. Let's be honest with ourselves. Yes, the economy is a bit tougher at the moment. The economy is a bit um, I wouldn't know the right word to use, but the economy is a bit stringent, yeah, at the moment. But if you find out, in all honesty, it has always been like that. Previous governments will complain, this, that, the petrol is expensive, dollar is this. It's just that the reality of where we were 10, 5, 15 years ago is different from where we are today. So the key thing for you to understand is that we are not likely going to have a time that situations will be better. It's I was in 1999 when democracy started. I was almost out of secondary school. I was in SS2, SS3. Yeah, I left SS3 in 2020, in 2000, year 2000. So I've been, even if we are not talking about the military era, yeah, I was there in the military era. I knew the hardship that we went through. Some of our families had to survive on meals that, if you ask your parents to cook those foods now, they will tell you that, no, we were hitting that particular meal in that generation because we had to survive. All of the tough things that we have gone through in yesteryears, they are still there to date. Maybe personally, as individuals, God has helped us with all of our struggles and strife. We are in a better place today. But things have always been a bit tough. That's the truth about it. It's not, there's been no time that I know that things have been, the economy has been so friendly that people are now able to afford what they need. Oh, you have money in the bank, you're able to move into a new house like you want, you're able to afford the car that you want. The dynamics of environment has always been a bit tough. In fact, for me, the way I would see it is that it looks like the longer the older we're getting, it looks like the tougher the economy is getting. And then coupled with the fact that now we also now have responsibility. We have responsibility to our families, we have responsibility to our customers, we have responsibility to our staff, we have responsibility to our children. So it's like the baton on us has been passed to us, and the load is now even heavier as we are growing older. So in all of that, how do you as an individual ensure that you're able to fulfill your financial responsibilities? Because without a cash flow, you can't. Without money flowing out of your hand, without a value exchange, there is no way you will be able to cope with all of the financial burdens around you. So number one, I've identified for us tonight, I start from, you don't even need to have money. It starts from identifying the skill that you have. What skill do you have that can be traded? What competence do you have that can be traded? What certification do you have that will be needed somewhere? What knowledge do you have? It could even be the knowledge of knowing where something is sold for cheaper than it normally will be sold. So take for example, there was a year I went out of Lagos just down to Ibadan there, and then I discovered that the price of frozen chicken was far cheaper compared to Lagos. In fact, that day I bought quite a lot for my personal home consumption, you know. But I'm just trying to explain to you. So it could be that you know that there is something being sold somewhere. You probably know that in your village, this particular priced commodity, it could be food, it could be gari, it could be beans, it could be palm oil, it could be anything. And then you understand that by being able to bring it out of your locality down to the city, you'll be able to trade it and sell it, and then ensure that money is flowing through your hand, because you already understand that the economics of the situation does not give you the chance to be able to meet all of your needs with the little money that you're probably making from wherever it is that you work at the moment, or even the main business that you do. So that's very important. You need to find the skill, the knowledge, the competence, the information. It could be an information, the information, it could be a website, where where something is sold for cheaper than it is being sold in the public. Anything. It could be a connection with somebody. Maybe the general manager or the marketing manager of an organization, and then you know that you can go to talk to them and get something cheaper, and then add your own value to it and sell it at another price, so that you can have money flowing through your hand. So those are different dynamics of it. And like I said, you don't even have to have money for you to do it. So that's number one. Number two is like looking at your current circumstances and asking yourself, how else can I expand my offering? So take for example, I'm going to cite a very, a personal example again. Sometimes in the year 2022, we had a challenge. We discovered that the expense of our corporate clients towards the product that we offer in Print House Nigeria was they were not spending as much as they were spending again. When COVID happened in 2022, a lot of organizations started recalibrating and changing how they spend and the direction in which they spend. One of the industry that suffered at that time is our industry. Even though packaging within the print industry did not suffer, but there are other here events, for example. So take for example, normally you want to do events, you probably have maybe like for example, let me use the bear for example. You could have a family printing 1,000 programs for bear, but now you probably have them printing 100 or 200 or 150 copies. So those were realities of I just made use of that as an example of our own industry. So we found out that our clients were not spending as much as they should spend again. Now, here's the problem. We've bought equipment. We've hired staff. We don't want to sell our machines. We don't want to lay off our staff. What are we going to do? So for us at Print House Nigeria, what we did was to take our machines and then we went into we used to be in we used to be we used to be in a we used to be in our office rather used to be in a residential quiet neighborhood where we were just there and all we do was to face our corporate
I knew I took my time.
I sent it now. This is what I sent to him. This is what we're going to use to print. This is what I sent to him.
He printed the old one.
Because I know as he forwarded it to me,
He
I
printed
just
the
forwarded
old
it
one.
straight to him.
Wait, it's like this thing is not working again. Oh, hello. Our guest is out right now. I'm very sure he will be back in a moment. Uh, okay. Sorry about that. I think there was a network issue.
yes, there was a network glitch.
Okay. All right. You are back on,
Oh,
sir.
all right, great. So, like I was explaining, so we looked at the problem that we had as an organization, and we saw that with diminishing um, um, expense by the corporate client that we serve, that will have a problem in our organization. So, what we did was to say, you know what, let's form another company by the side. So we now had branches. So now today we have what we call print stations. Print stations are places where every other printer, every other designer who do not have a particular equipment can come in and get their jobs done. And that has really helped and changed the level of our growth. We still have our corporate clientele. We're still developing them. We have not stopped. But then we now have a situation where all of our equipment are now maximally used because we have now moved out of our comfort zone into more markets. And from opening one branch, we've gone on to open in a year. We've gone on the next year. We've opened another one, and if God permits, we probably they have other ones coming up very soon. So that's another example that I just shared with you, a personal experience of how you could ensure that in a tough time like this, in a very tough time like this, you have your cash flowing. You have funds flowing. You have your cash. You have flow, your own cash flow growing. So look at what it is that you are doing currently. Perhaps you are focused on servicing the educational sector. Is it possible for you to use the same setup and equipment and everything that you have and focus it on hospitality? Maybe today your industry, the industry you focus on is hospitality. Is it possible to take what you do in hospitality today into the educational sector? Do you understand? So it's more of sitting down and rethinking what you have, and then looking at the fact that, can I do more with what I have currently? Are there customers somewhere? Is there an industry somewhere that I'm not even looking at all that I can possibly begin to serve? You understand? Don't forget that what we're discussing currently is saying that having a tough time like this, ensuring that you have your cash flowing. So now, to go to the third one, you could also look at the service you are possibly offering. You can look at, if it is service, is it possible to productize some of your services? If it is products, is it possible to add service to it? So let me give you an example. If, for example, I make a wig, uh, wig making, at the end of the day, you end up with a product. But perhaps after several weeks, after several months of use, that wig will not be in shape again. Is it possible for my customers to return that wig to me, and then I help them to recoil it and make it look good? Don't forget that your customers are not likely going to be buying wig as much as they used to buy before, because the wig you used to sell at 50,000 naira before is probably now 150 or 200,000 naira. But imagine if you are able to ask them that, okay, you can come in the next few months, and then we can, refix this wig for you at 25,000 naira, or maybe even higher. But the point is that, as far as you are concerned, your business must continue to do well. Your business must continue to grow. Even if you work in an office currently, is there something you could do as a value to whatever it is that you're doing currently that will ensure that you still have fund coming in? You have people who are in offices who, without taking their employers' time, without taking their employer, stealing from their employer's time, let me use that word, um, they are still able to use the extra time, the personal time that they have after close of business or midnight, to still find services to offer to people, to still find product that they can still sell. Some people will have their parents in the villages that will help them to get foodstuff. Foodstuff is currently expensive. We all know how foodstuff is expensive, particularly if you live in an urban city like Lagos, Ibadan, Abuja, or Port Harcourt, and all of that. But in the midst of that, there is always a need. There's always something that you can sell to someone. It's just for you to sit down and find out what people need, that you can achieve, you can get at a reduced price or at an affordable price, and then ensure that by the time you mark it up, you can pass it on to other people. So if you're a designer, you have a lot of things that you can do. You could sell t-shirts, you can sell prints, you can sell there are lots and lots and lots and lots of products. Do you understand? Oh, you can sing, you can do voiceover, you can probably learn how to record jingle. There are apps, there are apps online, there are softwares that, if you there are even free versions, not just a paid one. If you start with the free version today, you probably someday will be able to afford to go to the paid ones. So the basic thing is that you have to convince yourself that there is something that you can offer to ensure that cash is flowing through your hand. It is in cash flowing through your hand that you'll be able to meet all of your financial responsibilities, which are very key and very important in a time like this. So, like I said, I've not known since I have been born. I'm sorry. I have not known a time where the economy has been better off in Nigeria. I've not known a time where we have rested from having to deal with so many bills, rising cost of electricity, rising cost of diesel or petrol, rising cost of going to getting your children to school, rising cost of hospital bills. It has always gotten a bit tighter and tougher every time. And because you need to be able to meet all of your financial responsibilities, you as a person must develop other processes and ways in which you make money. All right. Hello. Hello. Am I still on? Hello. 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 No, I can't hear you, Praise. Okay, you can hear me, so I should go on.
Please go on, sir. I can
Okay, all
hear
right.
you.
So okay, great. Okay, so like I said, it's left to you to find all the environment, the circumstances, the economy is not likely going to get anything easier. It is most likely. I'm not a prophet of doom. I'm not wishing us evil, but it's 40 years on earth. I have not seen it easier. It has always looked like there are more hordes, there are more hurdles, and there are more tougher situations for us to conquer. So it is left for us to think of how we're going to build our cash flow in the midst of all of the dynamics of the hordes and challenges around ourselves. So, however, the government policy, our parents in their days, I remembered some of them they farmed, they sold things. Some of them probably took tutorials. We had parents of some of our colleagues who were teachers for us in extramural lessons. They probably would hold on Saturdays, hold at after school hours. They did all sorts to meet the needs of their families. They did all sorts to be able to earn money to ensure that their families are taken care of. They did also to ensure that within the confines of the limitations and the hordes around them, to ensure that the family is provided for. So I'm encouraging whoever is listening to me this evening that uh, look at your circumstances and situations and ask yourself, what competence do I have? What skills do I have that I can trade? The truth of the matter is that money is not going to come into your hands without you having something that you can trade. Money is not going to come into your hand without you having a product that you can sell. Money is not going to come into your hands without you having a value that you can exchange. Money is an exchange. Money is an exchange for something. So, what can I do to help I told you how when we saw that our corporate clients budget and spending was diminishing, we had to change our focus as a business. We had to reach out, we had to change our structure, we had to reorganize ourselves and push ourselves into the market where we are able to change our fortune. By the grace of the Almighty God, we are getting better and better. We are growing bigger and bigger every day, and we can only do better than we are. But if we had looked at our circumstances and then and then we probably said, oh, because customers are no longer spending the way we want them to spend, then let's sell the machines, let's lay off our staff, let's go and find something else to do. Who knows, maybe we'll be lucky with whatever it is that we find to do. But I'm telling you that this is what we did. We did not give up. We did not sell our equipment. We did not lay off our staff. We just felt that, okay, repositioning ourselves, putting ourselves into a new market can change the fortune of our business. And by the grace of the Almighty God, that changed everything, and I'm grateful to God. So please, I'm encouraging you this evening not to be downcasted by whatever circumstances is happening within the economy at the moment. I'm encouraging you this day not to give up. Yeah, the last thing that you should do is to give up. Please don't give up. What you need to do is to sit down and look at what value can you bring on board that you can exchange for money. What can you sell? What skill do you have? What product do you have knowledge of that people can afford? Do you understand? At a time like this, when food is expensive, do you know somewhere where a quality beans can be sold for cheaper, and then you can offer it to the market, and then people will buy it a lot from you? Do you know when a particular thing that is in high demand can be sourced for a cheaper rate, and you still get the genuine for one for them? So those are things that you need to think around whatever it is that you do. Um, I've cited the example of somebody who sells wig. So maybe now you begin to focus on the fixing wig for people. Maybe you do makeup. Maybe now instead of people coming to you every Saturday to do their makeup, before you used to charge them maybe 10,000 or 15,000 naira. Maybe now you need to probably look at teaching them how to do makeup themselves and then selling makeup kits, because you already understand that it's only maybe on their birthday or their wedding or special days that they will come to makeup studio. They won't come as often as they used to come. If I'm a photographer now, you know that a lot of people have powerful phones now. They probably can take their pictures, the picture that they need by themselves. Even if they have a small event in their house, they probably will flip up their phone instead of calling a photographer to come in. Photography is not even cheap anyway. So, but you are already a photographer. So, what else can you do? Can you think of business owners who needs to get clean, beautiful pictures of their product on Instagram or on social media or for the advertising, and then you walk into their office and you offer them your services at a cheaper rate? That, oh, okay, this is how to your product should look like. Can you see how your paper, your competitors own? Can you see what their product is looking like on Instagram? Is because they have this and this and this, they have this particular light, they have this particular camera. But since you can buy, I can come to you maybe once a week, twice a week, or maybe once a month, to help you to come and curate all of your projects so that you can have good pictures to show for your whatever, for your product on Instagram. And then the amazing thing, you can even be the one to invest on an iPhone, a very high-end iPhone with correct lighting. Maybe the customer, and then just find, the most important thing is, at the end of the day, cash must flow through you because you have bills to pay, you have responsibilities to attend to, and you need all the money all the legitimate money you can afford to make within the time you're here, and within the confines of your limitations. So that basically is what you need to do. So there's a skill somewhere, there's a competence somewhere, there's a network somewhere, there's a knowledge somewhere, there's something that that you can use, there's a service you can offer. In fact, for some people, maybe because you have no job at the moment, you probably can even offer your service, your skills, your competence for free right now. You can find somewhere, some organizations where you say, okay, let me do this for you for 1 month. If you think that I'm adding value to you, then pay me XYZ. So those, you have a lot of options here and there that you can explore at this time. Most important thing is that don't fold your arms, don't get dejected, and don't give up. Thank you very much.
Wow, what an amazing session we had there. Thank you so much for the insight. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences because experience matters a lot. A lot of people may not understand the explanation, but when you share experience, it shows that you're not just saying anything, you are actually uh, preaching what you have already practiced that works. Okay, so I have a couple of questions. I hope that people will also ask us some questions. I'll keep
Okay, sir.
monitoring that, but maybe before we do that, I'll ask my own question. So,
Okay, sir.
people who have established businesses already, but they are having difficulty uh, generating the kind of income that they need to generate because of the pre-existing condition
Mm,
of the
mm,
society,
mm.
right? Um, how should they go about uh, increasing their sales numbers? Like,
Okay,
what is the general advice you can give
okay,
to increase the sales numbers because they don't want to downsize, they don't want to
okay,
stagnate, they don't want to close
okay,
down. So,
okay.
how can they improve their sales numbers?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. I think that my second analysis perhaps explains that perfectly. I mean, I'm going to, as experience rather, I'm going to take it again. So I shared that in 2022, we had this a problem where our corporate clients were spending lesser than we had projected that they were going to spend. So imagine that you expected a particular revenue and then you are no longer meeting up with it. So what we did in our own case, like I explained, was to say, you know what, instead of focusing on our own direct clients, let's take our machines out to the market. Do you understand? Let's take our machines out to the market where other printers, other designers can come in and run their project on our machines.
Mm,
So
I
what
remember.
that did for us is that it got us busy. So when we are not doing our own direct projects, we are doing the project of other people. So that's changed that. So it is thinking of, okay, so this equipment is there. I have two options. I sell off this equipment and then I use the money to go do something else. Or I take this equipment out to the environment where this equipment is needed so that there can now be many that can be making use of this equipment. It's like as if I'm subleasing property that I own to so many other people who will now use it, and then of course all the money in that value chain will of course flow through and pass through me.
Hey, all right. So that makes a lot of sense. Thank you very much. So it's more or less like capacity utilization, improving
Exactly,
capacity.
capacity. Like so take for example, you have a factory where you produce a particular brand of baby food, and you don't produce the entire 24 hours. You don't produce the entire 7 days a week. Instead of Mr. Ezekiel to go build another factory, is it possible for you to make your line available for Mr. Ezekiel to produce his own product as well? Is it possible for us to have a shared? It's like you're now sharing
Yes,
that resources. Exactly,
yes,
you are now sharing that resources amidst so many manufacturers. So everybody is now producing it, and of course, for coming to produce with you, they'll pay you money. So
true.
that's like you're subleasing your equipment to them for the moment where they need to produce. Yeah, something like that. Mm.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
I'm trying to see if we have any question from the. So this is the time that you get to ask your questions. If you have any questions, please, this is the time to ask the questions before we let Mr. Olumide Anila go in. Uh, if you have any questions, please do not miss it. Please do not miss this moment. We're not going to have Mr. Olumide Anila all the time. It's not the he's very busy man. Very, very busy man. So
Thank
if
you.
you have any questions now, let us ask right now. So we'll just give a moment. Okay, so people are clapping in the comment section. I
Thank
wish
you.
I wish you could display like we used to, but Facebook has restricted a
Yeah.
lot of things. So if they are not, because when people are watching from five different platforms, right?
Okay.
They are not watching on my personal wall or on the Bring Doctor Africa page,
Okay.
then it cannot be displayed. Every other person cannot be displayed, whether it's a group or whatever, or Instagram, it can't be displayed. But I see a lot of people are saying thank you. Samadeti Ron, we acknowledge you. Adedola
Thank
for the birthday girl, we acknowledge you. Tosin Shokunbi, thank you so much. We acknowledge you. Who else is here? Who else is here? Oluwafemi John, I saw your comment earlier. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for joining me. Okay, so I think that will be all this evening. So if you have just one counsel for entrepreneurs, like one counsel, because the theme of the event is Propel to Greatness, which is
you.
basically supposed to kind of motivate and empower. Yeah,
Mm.
in the season that we are in Nigeria, in all the empowerment and the motivation we can get. So if you have just one statement or one sentence that you want to tell entrepreneurs, new or old or experienced entrepreneurs, what would you tell us?
Okay. Um, don't give up. Don't give up. Take a chance on yourself. If I'm permitted to use that as one word, don't give up, comma, and then of course take a chance on
Take a
yourself.
chance on
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah. There's you see, I said that because you see, we some of the places that we have walked into today, some of the growth that we've experienced today, we didn't see it 5 years ago. We didn't
Mm,
see it 10 years ago. We did not even, hope that we will get there anytime soon. But we took a chance on ourselves. And when we met the odds, we did not give up. That is why we're here where we are today. And that's just my word. Don't give up and take a chance on yourself.
thank you
Bet on
so
yourself.
much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We
My
really,
pleasure,
really,
sir.
really appreciate.
My pleasure, sir.
On behalf of everyone at Spring Doctor Africa, my team and my entire family, and all the wealthy authors, we say thank you for
My pleasure,
giving
sir.
us your time.
Thank you so much, sir.
Pray
It's a
that your
pleasure.
business continues to blossom and to
Amen.
prosper. All right.
Amen.
Have a
My
great
pleasure.
evening and regards to your family.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, that's it with Mr. Olumide Ayinla. I believe that entrepreneurs have learned something. Within the next 2 to 3 minutes, I will be coming up live to round up the entire convention. Believe me, it has taken a lot to put this together for us. Mr. Olumide Ayla, we exchanged some chats earlier today. I'm sure he's pleasantly surprised to see me behind the camera right now. But we have to do what we have to do. We have to do what we have to do. We are determined to give value to society that has given us so much in the last 5 years of Bring Up to Africa. And so I will take a moment, get my props ready, and I will be sharing on Propel to Greatness. I'll see you in a moment. Okay, we have arrived at the moment we are talking about. Good evening, everybody. This is the finale of the Pre Doctor Africa 2024 convention, and we will be talking this evening about the main theme for the event. So, wherever you are, please now start inviting your friends. It is time to go just to crown it all off. So, you know what we do at Friend Doctor Africa? What we do at Friend Doctor Africa is to help others fulfill their dreams. And that's why our rider is always your dream is our command. So you know. So at the convention, we have diverse conversations. We have this year we have talked about how to make money online. We've talked about how to manage crisis, how to recover from crisis. We've talked about agriculture. We have talked about cash flow as well. And then right now we are just about to round up and to say that wherever you are, it is time to propel to greatness. It is time to propel to greatness. So please tell me in the comment section where you are watching us from, what whatever it is you're doing right now. Tell us where exactly you are watching us from. Where is your location? Are you in Lagos? Are you in Canada? Are you in Germany? Are you in USA? Are you in the creeks? Whatever it is you're watching us from, please let me know in the comment section. I want to check that out now and start inviting your people. It is time for the grand finale. It is time for the grand finale. Okay? Say to everyone, it is time for the grand finale. Okay. So I'm going to tell us a very small story. I want to tell us a very small story, and I'm sure everybody knows this. You probably have heard about the man called Nelson Mandela. You probably have heard about the man called Nelson Mandela. Now, I was thinking about him a few days ago, and I'm wondering why was this man so highly revered? Now, if you know anything about the politics of South Africa, you will know that it's only recently that the ANC started getting real opposition. But this man's legacy kept the party, no matter how all the bad things they did, some a former president indicted and everything. That party was still living off on his name. What kind of a person could do that? This is somebody who spent 27 years in solitary confinement because of an ideal. So, what does greatness mean to you? What does greatness mean to you as a person? What does greatness mean to you as a person? A lot of times we actually do not have an idea. When we say greatness, many people think just about money. But greatness is all round. No one can be said to have attained greatness without impact. No one can be said to have attained greatness without influence. So, yes, greatness attracts money, attracts comfort, but really, we don't aspire to be great because of comfort. Because the steps, the process to attaining greatness is very tough. Yes, the process. So if only you knew that it was going to be this tough, many people would not desire it. But greatness is not the exclusive preserve of certain people. So you can make up your mind. In the industry that I serve, I want to be great. In the business that I do, I want to be great. I want to achieve greatness. If in the community that I serve, I want to achieve greatness. In the ministry that I work, I want to achieve greatness. And all I have to tell you this evening is what you can do to propel yourself to greatness. So greatness comes at a lot of cost. One of the first things that happens to people who want to be great is loneliness. There are almost 8 billion people thereabouts on earth right now. And not everyone is truly aspiring for greatness. Not everyone is truly aspiring for greatness. You see, so it is very important that we spend time to understand how to propel yourself for greatness. Now, when we talk about great people right now, we talk about maybe in our industry and publishing as a writer, talking about Harry Potter, or we talk about in entrepreneurship, Elon Musk. I saw a video a while ago, and I think earlier, years back, some of these big billionaires have said Elon Musk was overestimated himself and that he was not as smart as he thought he was. And then this year, early this year, thereabout, in another forum, somebody from the crowd now asked the two uh, billionaires and asked them that do they still think Elon Musk is not great? He's not as smart as they think, or he overestimates his smartness. Trust me, this is they couldn't go back. Now, I am not saying this to endorse the ways of the man, but nobody on earth can deny the fact that this guy has sacrificed a lot and has put in a lot to achieve greatness in entrepreneurship. And if you look at his lifestyle, look at everything, you will notice that he is not being pushed by the money. He is not being motivated by the money because he doesn't really spend the money, but he just wants to. If it's about the money, I'm really sorry about the break in transmission. Really sorry about the break in transmission. I was speaking, so this is my camera. And, this is my camera. I didn't know I was completely off. I was just completely. Um, I was completely into everything I was saying. Okay, so are you still here? Are you still here? Are you still here? Who is here with me right now? Who is here with me right now? Okay. Who is here with me right now? Okay. So I will just continue from where I stopped. I'll continue from where I stopped. Um, I'll continue from where I stopped. Are you here, everybody? So it's all about propelling yourself. It can be a very lonely journey. It can be a very tough journey. Something that we do as a group. People are going through, we are going to go through your own season. You're going to go through your own season. It's not going to be a team going through. Yours is going to be created and curated for you. The challenge to you this evening is that can you propel yourself to greatness? Do you have what it takes to propel yourself to greatness and be able to pay the sacrifice to do what you have to do? And when every time you see people show up, for some it's easier, for some others it is tough. Yeah, for some others it is tough. So like I was saying, I said that if which of you can believe that 3 hours, 4 hours ago, I was on hospital admission, taking injections and all that because the meds were just not working. But here we are. That's why I said, Mr. Olumide couldn't believe that I would make it here. Yeah, I will, and I do it because it's not about it. It's about what we are able to accomplish. It's about what we have set our hearts to accomplish. So it's what we do. It's being ready to face all the odds. So I'm going to give you three points this evening to prepare yourself to propel to greatness. I'll give you uh, three steps. Number one, it is important goals. Set clear goals. So imagine that Spain and England played the final last week and there were no goals. So they just decided that we're going to play for 90 minutes, no goal post, no net, nothing. So anyone that thinks is the winner is the winner. That's how some of us live our lives. We do not have something we have set to say that when we get here, that is when we have achieved something, right? So grown up adults will run around the green turf for 90 minutes and they'll be confused as to who the winner is. If you're going to propel to greatness, you cannot afford to live your life in confusion. You have got to set clear goals that this is how I am going to know that I have gotten or I am approaching that level. Now, it's also important to set milestones. So the goal will be there, right? The big picture, the vision will be there, but it's important to set milestones that you will know that when I get here and I achieve this, then I know that I am going closer to destination. So to be the industry leader in this. But you know that you cannot be the industry leader if you are not getting so number of clients every week or every month or every 3 months. So you have to put that in place as your milestone to get to. So who is the industry leader right now in your field? Okay, they serve 5,000 people and they have a turnover of $2 billion, for example. So you say to yourself that okay, for us to overtake these people as industry leaders, we need to serve 10,000 people within the next 3 years and have an annual turnover of $5 billion, for example. So you cannot wait till the end of 3 years to find out if you have attained your goal or okay. Please put it in the comment section if you are with me this evening. I want to be sure that you are with me this evening. Anybody here? Okay. So thank you so much. Thank you. So let's take an example of Oprah Winfrey. If you have followed my page, One Meaningful Thing, I've shared about her before. And I shared the fact that she stayed on one thing for 15 years before she moved to other things. All right, let me see. Now, she is a prime example of power of clear goal setting. Despite her difficult childhood and numerous obstacles, she set aside for a career in media. You see, you can follow the page One Meaningful Thing to see. She set a career on how do I call it, on media till she became the queen of media. So anybody who wants to talk about mention problem, take it to okay, the female gender when it comes to media, number one. She didn't start and then start moving right and left, trying to find out. No, there is clear focus on the goal. And she stayed on it before she started diverse. Right? Number two is continuous learning and improvement. Without continually learning and improving, you can make progress. I talked about Elon Musk. If you look at um, travel, around space travel, around building rockets, everything they build is rockets. Factory where they build is rockets. There is no level you should get to that you should stop learning. You might not want to go back to the university, but in your field, in that area that you want to become the greatest, that you want to achieve greatness, you must continually learn. Learn from people, read books, audio books, YouTube videos. Yes, YouTube videos are now in their hundreds of millions that it seems to be an unending ocean that you cannot get to the end of it. So if you are doing anything, you should continually learn. New media is available sources. Even whatever you feel like learning, it is important. Continue to learn, to also what kind of people you surround yourself with. Do you improve each other or one another if you are in group? These these are ways to continually improve. So one of the reasons I respect Dr. Shane Robinson is that even after her PhD, that we were just celebrating. She didn't stop. She has gone back to masters in another field entirely. And I can bet my next salary that she's going to do a PhD in that field too. That is the importance of continual learning, right? Um, Please, if you are going to greatness, there is world. And then finally, persevere through adversity. I talked about J.K. Rowling, the writer of Harry Potter. Harry Potter is reported to be one of the most successful books in the world. In the beginning, it was not so. In the beginning, it was not so. She had to persevere. She had to push through. She had to do a lot of things to continue. And then went to several. If this one is not the kind of publishing she did is not self get a publishing deal, which is not easy to get. I just gave out our first main publishing deal to a particular author, and I can tell you that both for the publisher and for the author, it's not an easy process. Guess what? Harry Potter eventually became one of the, the most successful all over the world. All right, so you have to persevere. I think I've mentioned this in the beginning. You are going to go through things you never thought was possible. 10 years ago, no one would have told me, or less than 9 years ago when I was resigning from my job, if they had told me that I was going to go through the things I have been through in the past 9 years. That when I now talk now, people seem to think, oh, there is a lot of experience. It is called suffering. Yeah, we are not where we used to be. The results are better than in the past. But the process has not been easy. The process has been tedious, tough. That if I had known every step of the way, how I do not think that I would have, right? So, thank you so much for staying tuned. I would love to know, um, for those who have attended the Print of Africa convention from day one, if anyone on this broadcast three things from any of from the sessions, not just one session, from the sessions. If anybody can share with me three things from the session, I am going to give you something fantastic. If anyone can share with me three things from the sessions, I promise to give you something very fantastic, right? During the platforms now, we're going to get something very fantastic. If you can share something from every session, from every session, you're going to get something fantastic. Yes, it's a promise. It's a promise. Anybody here? Anybody here? So as I begin to round off, I'll round up in the next 2 to 3 minutes, and then um, you should probably know why I have to rush this session. You should, if you are not aware, I mentioned something in the course of the speaking. I am not able to go full length like I planned to do. But definitely, this is not going to be our last time. I think we're going to come back again and we are going to have continuous conversations at the convention next year. And I'm trusting God that it's going to be bigger and better. I want to thank all the employees at Friend Doctor Africa. Everything you see that is happening here, it is the employees doing it. Believe me. I'm more or less now the visionary. If you are close to us in house, you will understand what I'm saying. If you meet any of our team members, any of our staff, help me to give them a big call, them help on envelope because they have been super, they have been amazing, and they have really, really been very helpful. From the depth of my heart, I want to appreciate them and I want you to help me to appreciate them because they have been the pillars that God has used to run the space successfully in the last 1 year, especially. Right? Then I want to thank all our authors, the Wealthy Authors Network. They have been fantastic. They've been doing fantastically well, supporting us, giving us referrals and all of that. Thank you so much. And finally, I want to thank my wife whose birthday is today. I deliberately in web platform in 2019. I deliberately chose her birthday so that from now till eternity, as long as this company exists, we will celebrate her on during our anniversary or during our convention, as the case may be. All right. I want to thank Tucci as well. She has been here. She has helped us to coordinate the sessions, especially the last 2 days. She did a nice job. It's not easy. Um, sorry, let me bring it back up. It's not easy. She's in a place where network has been showing her Bulaba very well, but she has stayed on. So Tochi, let us hear from you. Say, then we'll close the convention for this year.
Sir, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I must say that this convention was for me because I really, really learned a lot. In fact, my book is full. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And I'm sure that next year convention will be greater than this. I believe so. Thank you so much
Sure.
once again. And happy birthday to your wife, sir.
I thank you
Happy
so much.
birthday.
Thank,
Happy
thank you
birthday
so
to
much.
her. Long life and prosperity. Thank
Amen.
you, sir.
All right. So this is where we call it a wrap for this year, the Prince Doctor Africa Convention. We thank those who have continued to believe in us. Sam and Mimi Adetiran, thank you for always being there. Thank you, Mr. Femi Ebadon. Thank you for always being there. Always, 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 always supporting the brand. Okay? So, see you 2025 by the grace of God.